time for Elevenses with the reps at Diesel Bookstore, because why? It's Wednesday and it's 11 o'clock. Thank you for joining us every Wednesday. If you're new to the show here, every Wednesday we get together here at Elevenses time with a beverage or perhaps even a snack, and we meet with our fabulous booksellers and publishers representatives to talk about everything that is new and upcoming and exciting book-wise that we want to tell you about and share with you. And as I say every week, my to be read list expands exponentially when I hear about all the fantastic books. Even though I see them all the time, it's like, no, more books. And that's what we're here to tell you about. More books. And I'm going to introduce all of the wonderful reps and bookseller that we have with us today in 1 second. But first, I do want to tell you what's going on at Diesel this week in terms of events. We have on Thursday, that's tomorrow, at 6:30 p.m., we will be having Tom Lutz at the store, and Tom will be discussing and signing Chagos Archipelagos. I don't know why I always have a hard time with archipelago. Anyway, Chagos Archipelagos and 1925, a literary encyclopedia. So that is going to be tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. And then on Sunday, October 12th at 3 p.m., at the store will be Judith Orloff, and she will be discussing and signing The Highly Sensitive Rabbit.
Which looks adorable, by the way.
It's so cute. It is so cute. So that's going to be on Sunday at 3 p.m. So you don't want to miss that. All right. Let me go ahead and now introduce everybody, and then we're going to get going because everybody's got a lot of fantastic books they want to talk about today. So joining us today, we have Andrea Tetrick from PGW. We have Liz Camfiord from Random House. Brittany Greenway from Macmillan. We haven't seen Brittany for a while. I'm very excited, Brittany, to hear about all your books. And from Diesel, our bookseller today is Henry. And Henry's got some fabulous books he wants to talk about as well. And speaking of talking about books, we will be posting the links you will see in the chat area there. We'll have the links to every book that we talk about today. And you can click on those and it'll take you right to the book and you can go ahead and order those. All right. That said, let's get going. Let's just dive right in. Andrea, what's your first book today?
Thanks so much. It's good to see everybody. The first book I want to talk about is the gift edition of the season, My Brilliant Friend Deluxe Edition, the 4 volumes. That includes, of course, Elena Ferrante's first masterwork, My Brilliant Friend, The Story of a New Name, Those Who Leave and Those Who Stay, and then the final volume in the Neapolitan Quartet, The Story of the Lost Child. And look at this bad boy. Okay. This is amazing. Look at this. Okay. Do you see the Naples? Whoops. I don't know if you can see that. But you see the Naples beautiful scene right here with the volcano. This is so beautiful. They did an excellent job on this. And I cannot see how fans of the Neapolitan Quartet are not going to pick this up to give to other people, but also have this on their shelves to display prominently. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is a unjacketed hardcover, and it embossed on the front is the first sentence of the first book. So that's really beautiful. And there is a nice stack right now at Diesel. So we're happy about that. Owner Richard Turner got behind this book and brought in a lovely amount. And I think it was very prudent because this is, I think, going to have some staying power throughout the holiday season and beyond. And it's very exciting. We love it. And we're so excited that Europa Editions has decided to celebrate their premier author. So,
can I just say, how great is Europa, though? I love every time. Yeah, I don't know if you all watching are familiar with Europa editions. We do talk about them quite frequently, but they're fabulous. Every book that Europa puts out is both, literarily wonderful, but also every book is like its own little piece of art as well. So I mean, I know we're not supposed to judge books by their covers, but come on. But in this case, we already know. We are familiar with the content, so we can go ahead and judge. Beautiful cover, and gorgeous sprayed edges there.
Yeah,
fabulous. Yeah, fabulous gift. Absolutely.
And you're so right about Deborah, about Europa. They of course do mostly books in translation, but on the shortlist for the Booker Prize, they have a book in the original English called The Land in Winter by Andrew Miller. So that's something to look forward to a little bit later, that I'll be talking about on one of my next appearances here. But that's exciting that they have another Booker shortlist. That's just, they're killing it.
Your bag is full of Bookers, Andrea, and must be so fun to just. I mean, every year you've got a bunch of like fantastic Booker nominees and prize winners. So
yeah, it's particularly satisfying because it's all from small indie presses, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the best.
It's nice to see that they are getting that kind of traction in the marketplace and also, amongst the critics. So,
and Europa is still largely paperback, right? I mean, there's the gift edition, or are they doing more hardcovers now?
They're doing select hardcovers for the books that they feel like this is going to have a long life, and also just to, I think, attract authors, because authors like to see those books in hardcover. So but not everyone. They still have a lot of trade paper originals as well.
No, we used to sell them at Penguin Random House, and I remember the first one was Elegance of the Hedgehog, and that was so popular.
That's a great one. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, Andrea. All right, Liz, let's go over to you.
Okay, we're going to go to Venice, but written by an Irish author. So Venetian Vespers by John Banville is it's his latest novel. He, of course, won the Booker Prize, many prizes, but since we're talking about the Booker, he won it for his novel The Sea years ago, but still a beautiful novel and on bookshelves continuously. Oh, isn't that such a gorgeous cover? So Kirkus's starred review calls this a dark, twisty, and consistently smart novel, vintage Banville, where a trip to Venice takes a dark turn for a British writer and his American wife. So it's a literary Gothic. It's really tightly plotted, and it's set in Venice in 1899, so it's historical. The first line of it, sometimes I just love to read a first line. It's so poetic. It describes our protagonist's dream. The line is, dusk, a deserted room, a scrap of silk on a marble table, darkening waters beyond. So that sets the stage. Here, as a new century approaches, struggling English writer Evelyn Dolman, a hack by his own description, marries Laura Rensselaer, who's the daughter of an American oil tycoon. Evelyn anticipates that he and Laura will inherit a substantial fortune and lead a comfortable, settled life. But his hopes are dashed when a mysterious rift between Laura and her father just before the father's death leads to her disinheritance. So it's one of those tales of disinheritance and unhappy newlyweds who travel to Venice to celebrate the new year at Palazzo Dioscuri, which is the ancestral home of this charming but treacherous Count Barbarigo. So from the first moments in this misty Gothic floating city, supernatural occurrences start to accumulate. And Evelyn, who's fairly neurotic, his nerves are already fraying. Then Laura disappears. So how to explain this increasingly sinister circumstances surrounding him? Is he losing his mind? So I'm reading this now, and it really calls to mind another novel that I loved from way back when, The Passion by Jeanette Winterson, or of course, Daphne du Maurier. Venice is this unsettling character in the novel, and it's also fun. Our main character, Evelyn, as I said, is a hack writer, and Banville portrays that beautifully, kind of a satire of a pompous, verbose writer. And so there are some really bad sentences in here, but that is the point. And I did chuckle. So I highly recommend Venetian Vespers. He has been writing a mystery series more recently. So I think that accounts for how good this is, how tightly plotted, how you don't see holes in it, and just a great tale, a great yarn with a shocking ending.
Ooh, a shocking ending. I cannot wait for this book. Normally we're big fans of Banville in our house, and for some reason, well, this has been happening a lot when you're reading so many books at a time. Didn't hear about this one until recently, or it didn't pop up on the radar until recently. And
it went on sale yesterday. So
no, but I mean, I should have known about this.
Yeah. Well,
You know?
we have a lot of books.
We do. But I'll first of all, read anything set in Venice, and then it's Banville, and then historical, all of the things. So it just sounds so exciting. I can't wait. That's like number one on the list. So went on sale yesterday.
I want to talk to you about it after you're done. Reach out to me.
Yes. Okay. Absolutely.
Very exciting.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Liz. Brittany, we haven't seen you for so long. What's happening? What is your first book?
My first book is a children's picture book. It's called I'm a Cloud. It comes out on, I think, October 21st. Yes, October 21st. The author is Dutch and has a name that I am very hard pressed to pronounce correctly, so please forgive me. But it is just the sweetest picture book. The artwork, it is so... it feels like it has that Dutch sensibility. Like there's just something about this style of art that screams independent bookstores. It's quiet. The palette is slightly muted, but it's very lovely. And what I love about it is that the text is simple, but it's kind of melodic in a way. It's very gentle. It's a gentle read. Like it goes, on some day, I'm a cloud. On some days, I look like a mountain. I'm enormous. I move slowly through the sky. Like it's the kind of thing that you can easily read as you're trying to wind a kid down for nap time or bedtime. It's just so beautiful. And the illustrations have this lovely kind of sense of movement as well. So, and it's interesting because a lot of times the movement feels as if it's juxtaposed. So you might have the cloud going one day, and then on the ground, the subject, sometimes it's a rabbit, sometimes it's a horse, kind of going the other way. So it just has this beautiful sense of harmony throughout the book between the text and the illustrations. And I just think that it's one of those picture books that is a little bit of a sleeper on our list. It's really sweet, very lovely, and it's my personal favorite that we have on our fall list this season.
It looks absolutely gorgeous. I'm noticing a lot of picture books and for slightly older children books as well that are dealing with weather lately. I don't know if anybody else is noticing this trend. And then there's, of course, some quite a few adult books dealing with weather in more poetic ways. But what an interesting trend, I think. And just that aside, the art is really beautiful. And and what you say about a Dutch sensibility is really interesting as well, because I think if anyone's ever had a chance to look at the difference between, like, books in the Netherlands or the surrounding areas, which I did last year. I had a chance to look at some bookstores, and I was in Belgium and in Amsterdam. And of course, what do you do when you go on vacation? You go to bookstores in other places. And it is a little bit more muted and soft, like you say, but really beautiful. So I always appreciate kids books, talking about kids books too. So thanks, Brittany. We like to have that in there as well. Beautiful book. Thank you, Brittany.
Mhm.
Henry.
Hello. I'm in a small fight with my cat who really wants to be a participant of Elevenses.
I can see that.
My first book is, and this is going to be a shocker for people who've been on this with me before, a horror novel called Black Flame. It's by
It's spooky season.
It is spooky season. I can't do October without a horror book. She wrote Cuckoo, which she's very, very popular for. This book, a lot of the reviews for this book, I wanted to point them out very specifically before I got into this. Gross, disgusting, disturbing, uncomfortable. Why is there a weird thing about fingernails? Gretchen Felker Martin does not really pull punches as far as stuff being gross. Really, really great queer horror author. This one is about an archivist who discovers a very weird surviving copy of a film called The Baroness, which was thought to have been destroyed during Nazi fires. She's the only person who is set to restore it. It's a very weird, like hedonistic, strange film. As she works on the film, she's kind of consumed by the scenes of the film, the actors of the film. Starts hallucinating, starts seeing things, and she believes that she is like unleashing this film upon the world in a very real way. It's very strange. Great for people who love, again, things that are gross and disturbing, queer fiction and film. Great for people who love film, and of course, people who love horror.
I just can't stop. I know, right, Andrea? I can't stop looking at. I can't stop looking at that cover. It's really, at least you know what you're getting going in.
For
sure.
Yeah.
Is that film coming out of the mouth?
That is film coming out of the mouth, and it also is wrapped around her throat.
Oh yeah.
And I believe the intention with the eyes is to look like the projector bulb.
Yeah, really, it really works.
If you look up like Goodreads or like any of the sites they have that are popular for reviews, about a third of them are just gross, disgusting, disturbing. A lot of those are 5 stars. But yeah, it's a very strange book. It's very gross. I think Perverted was thrown around a couple of times just based on like the kind of film that she is restoring. It's weird, but that's
but weird is good.
Sorry, did you say who published it?
I don't know off the top of my head, actually.
It's mine. It's Tor.
Ooh, Tor.
I should have assumed.
Stamp of approval. Tor.
Yeah. Specifically, it should be the Tor. It should be Tor Nightfire's imprint. But yeah, no, that's mine.
The rate that I buy books from Nightfire, they probably have like an investment stake in my life.
Sometimes it goes like that. But a perfect book for the season, Henry. Thank you. This is definitely we should just have you on every week in October talking about books. Okay. Henry's picks for spooky season.
I love
Thank
October.
you. Yeah, I bet. Thank you, Henry. All right, Andrea, back to you.
Thank you. Also, a book dealing with cinematic subjects, but not scary. This is a great book, a gift-giving book for sure. John Candy, A Life in Comedy. And this is by Paul Myers, who is Mike Myers' brother, who who's a great writer and wrote the best-selling Kids in the Hall, One Dumb Guy. And this here is the definitive biography of John Candy. And we're just so happy that it has arrived right around the time that Colin Hanks' documentary that just first aired in September of this year is out and about. So there's a lot of renewed interest in John Candy's life because of that film. And this is, it's just such a loving portrait of his work and his genius. And it's got okay, this is the thing about this book. The value added elements of this book is just, it's pretty amazing. So Dan Aykroyd writes the foreword. Everybody, Myers was able to basically talk to everybody that he worked with, all the Canadian comedians of the day, did extensive interviews with those folks, and all of his co-stars as well. So Steve Martin is in these pages, Martin Short, Catherine O'Hara, Mike Myers, of course, the brotherly connection. Conan O'Brien was a friend, Tom Hanks, Ron Howard, basically like the who's who of the film and comic world around the time that he was coming up and really starting to make a name for himself in film are all come into these pages and have great things to say about him. And I just think this is going to be one of those books that anybody who's interested in film and his work are going to come to this book. Paul Feig, the writer and director, says that this book, let me see, I'm going to pull up my notes here. An amazing talent like John Candy deserves an amazing biography, and Paul Myers has done just that. The publisher the editor at Esquire says that you're going to savor this book basically, and then go back and want to visit all of the films that Candy was in. So this is a nice celebration of an amazing talent who left the planet entirely too soon. John Candy, A Life in Comedy.
And it seems like, John Candy is one of those people who nobody has a single bad thing to say about him. It's they're far and few between, but every once in a while there's somebody in like everything is positive. And that's hard. That's quite a legacy,
Yeah, and I especially think in that genre as well. In that that discipline of performance art, because those characters, like those personalities are so like large, and larger than life, and there's volatile personalities. So it just goes to show you, he's beloved, and so it's
absolutely
just really
yeah. I think that book's going to do really well. Again, it's the fall is always a time for big books, but it does seem like this fall there's
it's really
yeah. This is how you miss the Banville, because there's so many. It's just there's so many amazing books this fall. It's incredible. Thank you, Andrea. All right, Liz, back to you.
Makes me happy to see his face and know his memory lives on. I'll watch the documentary. Thanks for telling us about it.
I know, I didn't know about the documentary either.
So the next book I want to talk about is a new book of poetry that went on sale yesterday from Los Angeles's own Robin Coste Lewis. It's called Archive of Desire. I actually saw her last weekend at Kevin Young's events. He was out here, and they've been working together on this book on about Rauschenberg. Anyway, I said, "Oh, I love your book," and she said, "I never meant it to be a book." So I don't know what that means exactly, but this is such an exquisite book. It's a sensual poem in 4 parts, an homage to the iconic Alexandrian poet C.P. Cavafy. An Alta review, which I know Diesel often has that big, lovely Alta California book review. It's such a great journal, said that this breathes fresh life into history and art. And that's what Robin always does. This is her 3rd collection. She won the National Book Award for Voyage of the Sable Venus, which was her debut. So that's pretty remarkable. She teaches at USC. She teaches poetry at USC. She'll be doing events, I'm sure, around town. But I just want to tell you more about this book because it is my favorite of hers. I love all her books, but this really goes up a notch. So in all her works, she really reaches across centuries, to quote the editor, to express the timeless glory of art, the give and take of love, the kiss that lives in the moment, the unfolding journey of being human, which only becomes clear over time, igniting our memories. So the poem weaves in and out of Cavafy's bedrooms, his notebooks, and this sort of suppressed erotic excavation that underpins all of his work. So anybody reading this is going to want to go back to Cavafy's work. It just really brings it to life. And I did that. And I was just like, why haven't I been reading him before? So she converses directly with him in the book. Here's a quote. Often you reminded us that the only true barbarians are the ones raging in silence of our own minds. She also brings equal parts of herself to this study. They're sensual poems for sure. So there's a short section titled Cavafy in Compton, where Robin grew up. Closet Anthem, Self-Portrait at 16, 1979. So that's sort of her auto poetry. I guess all poetry is auto poetry. Anyway, I also just want to quote, and then I will finish, her epilogue. She writes, I don't know of any person of my generation, and certainly not a queer person my age, who doesn't stop in silence whenever the name Cavafy is mentioned. For many people who suffered acute shame, isolation, abuse, Cavafy's poems saved their lives, our lives, and his writing exalted our beauty. So that is Archive of Desire. I urge you to I know Richard ordered it. It's went on sale, as I said yesterday.
Beautiful. And Liz, I just want to say that I always appreciate that I appreciate when we talk about kids' books, but you always bring a book of poetry. And I really appreciate that. I'm unfamiliar with both of these writers, but now I'm really intrigued, and that sounds absolutely beautiful. I don't know anything about either one of those. So.
And we often, we all can, be guilty of thinking that an ancient poet, an Alexandrian poet, might, I don't know, be cryptic or antiquated or whatever it is. These are so accessible, kind of like Japanese haiku is accessible,
Right.
It's like
right.
You can get right in. So I'm hoping that none of this is intimidating to no poetry readers, because they would be, delighted.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, Andrea probably knows, right?
Well, yeah, because my great grandmother had a Greek father, but Cavafy is so accessible and is really like the poet laureate of all time, like the lifetime or era defined poet laureate of Greece. And so I really feel that there's going to be a huge market for this. I think this, should be basically in every indie bookstore in the land.
Thank you.
And that's so great that you get to talk about this book, Liz, because of your love of poetry. And
appreciate that.
Yeah.
And your writer.
And you'll always find these books at Diesel. Just want to
always. I would never talk about a book here, nor would I let Richard not order this book.
Oh yeah, sometimes you got to strong arm the buyers when it's an important book. you know.
But she is
Well-
local, and Diesel's also so great with local authors.
Yeah, this is a little inside baseball for anybody, who's watching and wants to know what goes on in a buying session. it's not
It's
not really as
fascinating.
it's not really as knockdown drag out as we're making it sound. Thank you, Liz.
No, it's still a genteel industry. Okay.
It really is.
It is, and will be forever. I mean,
Yep.
come on, sitting around with cups of tea,
Yeah.
All right, Brittany, back over to you.
My second book is called The Genius Bat, and it is out as of yesterday. And it is a book all about bats. I think what I really love about this book is that bats are often a very misunderstood animal. I think they're very mischaracterized. So this is sort of a narrative, nonfiction, single subject dive into the secret life of the only flying mammal. And, it's October, it's Halloween season. I think we all associate bats with Halloween, but I think this is the type of book that is trying to sort of peel back that sort of stereotype about bats and really drill into how they are as animals, how important they are to our environment, to the ecosystems in which they live, and also they're just weirdly kind of cute. And it's written from the world's leading expert on bats.
So I think this is for adult readers of the kids when Stella Luna came out. And Stella Luna is this beautiful picture book, gorgeously illustrated by Janelle Cannon, who's a friend of mine. We met right after Stella Luna came out. And I learned a lot about bats from Janelle, not just from reading Stella Luna, but she was very involved in, because of that book, bat conservation efforts and, various bat societies. And bats are absolutely fascinating. And I think and that was sort of the point of Stella Luna, was that they're so misunderstood. People think they're scary and they're spooky and, getting bitten by a bat kind of a thing. It's this sort of primal fear that we have. And then, of course, now viruses and that kind of thing as we encroach on their ecosystem. But they really are, they're absolutely fascinating creatures in the way they hunt, what they eat, the family structures, all of these things are like absolutely fascinating. So I'm all for a deep dive, single subject book that goes into a subject that needs clarification, or that people maybe are, about something that is misunderstood. And I definitely think this is one of them. So that looks great. Very exciting. And it's funny to me. I mean, obviously you put this on the front table during October because people are like, okay, Halloween bats, but it's so much more than that. So thanks, Brittany. All right, Henry.
Staying on that same theme, my second book is a graphic novel by Scott Snyder. He's done a million different things. He did American Vampire. He's worked on Superman in various forms, Batman in various forms. This is a repeat of that. The DC Comics has put out a new kind of line called the Absolute series, where they're doing a rewrite of a lot of different characters. And they've recently put out the first volume collecting the first couple of issues of Absolute Batman, which has been shockingly popular. A friend of mine read it, asked me to order him a copy. I ordered it. Then we started having it in the store. And I have sold like one a week since we did that. People have really been liking it. I've been flipping through it. It's great. What if Batman, instead of being rich and wealthy, was an orphan who grew to be 6'8" and 400 pounds of muscle? That's kind of the whole idea behind the Absolute series. They're doing kind of different twists on a lot of very popular characters. And this is one of the first ones that they did. And it is absolutely fantastic. It's great for anyone who likes Batman, for anyone who likes comics in general. It's very fun. It's very weird. It does a lot of really cool spins on a lot of different kind of classic parts of all of these comics. And I just think it's great.
So it's a soft, the format is like a paperback.
It's a hardcover collected.
It is a
volume. I think
hardcover.
they are doing a kind of a soft cover graphic novel as well for that first volume. It's about, I want to say $18 for the hardcover, so it's not a crazy price.
Right. But we're calling it a comic and not a graphic novel.
Yeah.
So what's the distinction there? I mean,
I think I think comic is like kind of those thinner issues, those single issues, whereas graphic novels one is more of a collected volume.
mhm.
But I still think collection of comics comes in as a comic.
I ask because it's an intriguing question because so I think sometimes they're used sort of interchangeably, but
Definitely.
there's definitely a metric somewhere that that people are following. So, well, that's fun, Henry. I really enjoy that, and I'm sure it's moving really well right now. So, thank you. All right, Andrea's going to start our last round of the day.
Okay, I'm going to try to share my screen because I have a kids book that demands taking a look at. Really, just like you need to see this. Hello, Little Ones, a chunky board book with a lay flat binding is my kids' pick for the day, and I just wanted to show you, like, it's just absolutely adorable. The art is excellent, and it's basically a book that compares and contrasts little animals to babies, so to human babies, and it's just delightful and sweet and absolutely adorable. I just think that this is going to be a winner, and people are going to pick this up in kids sections for a long time. I mean, the art is just, check it out. I mean, it's pretty great. So pretty happy about this book. And like I said, it's an oversized, chunky board book. I can't see how, I defy people to walk by this book and not pick it up. So it's really cute.
I want a copy of it, and I don't even have a kid to give it to right at this moment.
It's totally appealing.
I want it for myself. It's so cute.
Yeah.
Who's the publisher on this? Did you say? Henry?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is from Annick Press, one of our Canadian publishers of note. We have a lot of great kids publishing north of the border, and at that straight, very oddly shaped border that doesn't seem natural.
Somebody just drew a line arbitrarily.
Yeah. So Annick does some really great kids titles, and this is one of them. We're happy to have this in our bag, as the reps say.
Yeah.
Will you repeat the title? I have to get it for a shower gift.
Okay, it's called Hello, Little Ones.
Okay, thank you.
And
plus, what's better than a board book? Okay, like board books I love, and always when I'm talking to people in the store about board books, it's like, yes, I mean, they could take, but they're meant to be, punished. And if you see a board book is well loved when there's like teeth marks in it. It's the best.
Yep.
One of these days, a publisher is going to start producing board books already bitten. I see it coming.
Well, and it is kid tested. I after the season was over, I had a sample, and I gave my sample to my cousin's little baby, and he loves it. So there you go.
Excellent.
It's already tested in the field.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Andrea. All right, Liz.
So I've got what your Halloween ordered. I love the Halloween theme. Like, no message went out that we were going to do, lots of books to deal with bats and horror and all of that. But
that's why you guys are the professionals.
So I'm going to talk about Bargain Witch by Brooke Palmieri, Brooke's first book. He is published by Dopamine Books, and that is an imprint of, stick with me, Semiotext MIT that I get to sell. And Dopamine is a small press in LA. The publisher is writer and publisher and beloved presence, Michelle T. And so I was able to hear Brooke read from this early on in sort of a showcase of her Dopamine authors. And I love it so much. I love his voice. It's, if I said, it's a collection of essays. It's an occult history that, quote, grounds the sacred yearning for magic, spelled Magick, in real life. And so totally delightful essays. Brooke is a scholar and self-initiated witch. This is connecting readers to this enchantment, both contemporary and classic, drawing upon knowledge and influence of practitioners from, these are new names to me, maybe to you, but let's say them, Rachel Pollack to Tituba. Brooke addresses the sacred yearning for, as I said, magic in real life. So whether he's exploring the gossip of feuding Salem witches, or paying the rent by playing wizard for news cameras, or detailing the psychic ups and downs of working in an occult bookshop, which he did in London, his voice is just infectious for witchcraft and its lineage of eccentrics. The essays are short. And I'm seeing that collections of essays, just in general, people are wanting these short hits. And I just, like I said, love his voice. It's sexy, dangerous, ecstatic, according to one review. And he lives in Joshua Tree. And like, the more I see and learn about the whole high desert artistic community, the more I just want to take a weekend trip. And the music, the art, all of the cool stuff that's happening there. He actually founded Camp Books, which is also a bookstore in I guess in Joshua Tree. It's promotes access to queer and trans history through rare archival materials, cheap zines, and workshops and installations. So read this book by Brooke Palmieri. It's really fun and different and nothing like it.
I love this. This sounds so great. I am, it's been really an embarrassment of riches for me, because I love the short essays. This is just really my jam lately. And especially because so many of them are kind of, towing that line between fiction and nonfiction. They're very impressionistic and often funny as well. And this sounds great.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about this book. I'm so excited.
That's why I wanted to talk about it, because he's in our midst, and I hope he writes a lot more. I think he's working on another book. So this is a taste of what he's like, but super funny writer.
Perfect. Excellent. Thank you so much, Liz. All right, Brittany, let's wrap it up for the day.
Okay. So my last book is The Book of Sea Monsters. It's out now. It came out in September, and it is from Bloomsbury. And it is this beautiful, like, I feel like it's, how do I even describe it? It's so pretty. It's just so pretty. Basically, it's a collection of literary snippets throughout history. So it has some stuff from ancient Greece. It has Herman Melville. It pulls from different mythologies, folklore, literature that examines human fascination with the mysteries of the deep sea, and specifically the creatures in the sea. And it's so it's got these excerpts, but then it also has these really beautiful illustrations throughout. It has this gorgeous cover, and it just feels like the kind of thing that you can give to people who love kind of mythological / folklore / anthology collections, I think it's a really great thing to give to a kid who's starting to kind of get into mythology, and maybe like steering them for like subject-based mythology as opposed to a specific culture, because it pulls from all different cultures, and it looks at this idea that the mystery of the sea, or the fascination with the sea, is a deeply human thing that is sort of a universal thought or experience, where it's not just one culture that has had this fascination with what's under the water. Like it goes across the globe throughout history. So, yeah.
And I think if you look across cultures, there's always in every culture there's some sort of sea monster or sea creature, that carries on throughout various literatures of different cultures. So this is it's all of my favorite things today. The sea is another one of my pet subjects that I love to read about. So would you say it sounds like it's sort of an all ages kind of a book?
I think so. Like, I think the writing itself, like the excerpts and stuff, it does read older, but I think you could comfortably give this to maybe like a middle or high school age kid that's really interested in this type of thing. But it's just really pretty. So even if you did like show it to a younger kid, they might just like the illustrations, and it could be an
Right.
aspirational thing, or it could be a read aloud.
So are there lots of so the illustrations are like artwork or just
so it's like different, it's sourced different artwork. So it's a lot of they've pulled from different famous pieces of art. So there's a lot, it's like photos of stuff that's like at the Met, or like, let's see, other illustrations. The author is an academic, and so there's definitely I would say it doesn't read like an academic book, but I think it does have that feel to it, being very very well researched.
It's a scholarly,
very well
but
put
accessible.
together.
Yeah.
Scholarly but
excellent.
accessible. The author has excellent credentials. She's a postdoctoral research fellow at the Mindaru UWA Deep Sea Research Center. And she specifically is studying like the significance of sea monsters across different cultures.
Excellent. It sounds like a great gift book. Oh, look.
Yeah, it is. Very, very gifty.
There it is. Okay, wonderful. That's beautiful.
There.
That's great.
Yeah.
Moby Dick, Loch Ness Monster. Excellent. Well, I'm going to add that to my list of books that I want someone to give me. Thank you, Brittany.
Ezra Pound.
I'm telling you, it pulls from a lot of different sources.
Yeah, it's
like
fantastic.
It's really cool.
I absolutely love this kind of book. It's one of my favorites.
Are the dimensions like almost like those welcome books?
It's like a slightly small, it's not a fully coffee table size book. It's like a slightly smaller size. So it's 9.6 by 8.6. So it's almost square, but not fully, which is also nice about it too, because it's not this big bulky thing. It feels a lot more accessible. So then again, if you did want to share it with a smaller child, you could, read to them, and like it wouldn't feel too heavy. It's just, I don't have I had a copy and then I gave it away.
I'm sure.
I was.
I'm sure a lot of people wanted it.
No, I've got another one coming. It's on the way, but it's really well done, and it was kind of deeply buried in Bloomsbury's list. And when I was starting to sell fall, I was kind of like, okay, but California is a coastal state. We need to be talking about this sea monster book.
The sea,
and so
we do.
I talked about it with everyone, and it's funny because I was about maybe 2 weeks into my sales calls, and my boss sent out an email to all of the reps, and she's like, "Everybody, this book is so cool." And I was like, "I've been talking about it nonstop. Like, I won't shut up about this book." So yeah, it was one of my like rep picks that I have been talking about from the beginning, and I'm so excited that it's out in the world and people can find it. It's a hidden gem. I really think it is.
Well, I'm really glad you shared it with us on Elevenses. So
Great.
perfect. And I want to thank everybody for sharing a really amazing collection of books. Every week it feels like it gets better and better. The books are more and more amazing. It's really heartening. I mean, I know you guys are the professionals, so you know how to pitch these things, but really it's very heartening for me to see how many great books continue to be written and produced all the time, right? We have that. We always have books. And I think that is a appropriate note to end Elevenses on today. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Andrea Tetrick from PGW, Liz Camfiord from Random House, and Brittany Greenway from Macmillan. And thank you, Henry, for getting up, before midnight to present all of your fantastic books. We will be back again next week with more wonderful books and more wonderful reps and booksellers. So I hope you will join us again right here next week. Until then, everybody, have a wonderful week. Happy reading, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.